I love cookies. I do. That's true.
Can you talk to us a little bit about, you get cast and then you go to the source material, you go to read Paper Girls. Talk a little bit about how reading it and the reaction that you had and realizing you were going to bring this story to a live screen and a bigger audience.
That was the first thing. Upon reading the comics, I'm sure it was a Cameron and Sophia testimony. We didn't know that the comics existed before auditioning, but I immediately just fell in love with the color palette. Matt Wilson's design, and how the purples aren't quite bright purple, and then the pinks aren't bubblegum pink. It's just like this very specific tone that we definitely tried to replicate on the show as well, and how the show has a very unique genre and vibe to it, the same way that the comics feel so special. And it was just a pleasure to bring to life, and from the moment I heard it, I knew it was something that would be really great to be a part of.
I think very similar to Fina, I knew from the get-go that this was something that was going to be very special, as it touches upon topics that aren't really shown in media nowadays. And especially with that female empowerment, it's a true portrayal to how it actually is. Like, the girls don't have just one personality trait; they have depth to them. It feels very real, and how girls actually.
Now, you two, without too much spoiling, you guys get this moment where you get to interact with yourselves at some point. Did you guys have to sit down? How did you prep to kind of bounce off each other to be alike? Because you guys are so much on point with your older versions. It's weird.
Well, for the older version of myself, Delia, she actually went to school with my sister, and they were in a playwriting class together. And in this class, they wrote plays about their families, and then would put them on. And so my sister wrote this play that had me in it, and then Delia played me before I met her. So this was not Delia's first time playing the older version of myself. And I didn't know that when she was cast, and I later found out from my sister, and I was mind blown just by how small a world it really is. And Delia does a great job. And take it away.
Yeah, so I think the really cool part about Erin's character is that at the beginning she has these high expectations for herself. She wants to work in the White House. She wants to have 4 freaking kids. And then, so I think for us as an audience, and also for Erin's character, it's really a surprise to see how she turns out, as she starts out to be so confident as who she's going to be. Sorry. She's staring at me. So she's really slapped in the face with reality, and it was really cool to be able to play off being able to play off of Ali Wong, and we just had a great time crafting this character and to see the clear dynamic of growing up.
Yeah, I asked Sophia and Cameron, and they said it was a bit surreal. It's their first Comic-Con. They're signing posters. They're on a big panel. They're doing press. How's it been for you two? How's the weekend been?
It's just like that. Everything's moving so fast, but it's also, we're just having the time of our lives. I feel like Comic-Con has just been something that we've prepared so long for. Well, it feels like everything that we've done has lived up to this moment, so it definitely does. It feels very surreal.
This time last year, Comic-Con was a big what if for us. It was like, that's our peak if we make it. And so to be here is absolutely insane, to see everybody dressed up and to notice that there are people who actually care about hearing what we have to say. It's great, and we're so grateful for the support. And we just could not feel happier, just seeing how much people have come out to hype us up a bit.
It's very humbling.
Excited to have the show actually released, because in a way you're going to be role models for a lot of young girls. Like my daughter's 10. Other than the language, a little bit, I can't wait for her to see these strong females on the screen.
Yeah, a lot of women would come up to us on set and say they wish they had a show like this when they were younger, because it's a story that puts girls at the forefront, and it doesn't shove girl power in your face. It just has women living human experiences that aren't a plot device and aren't a sex symbol or something that is just completely one-dimensional. And so I really hope that, you know, the rising generation will see these girls and think of them as heroes. And then also for the women who are now older, I hope they'll watch the show and get what they have not seen and get to see something that hasn't been told before.
100%. Like the show, the core of the show is definitely the characters and the female empowerment, but really the show is for everyone. I think if people can find a little bit of themselves, and not just one, but all of the characters. And something that I took away from the show, and what I hope other people can take away from it, is that it's okay to not always have it figured out, no matter how old you are, and no matter who you are or what you think you're going to be. You're fully capable of taking your fate into your own hands. It's just important to live in the moment, to just be.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey.
I like to call you the Doc Brown of this thing.
Totally. There's some Doc Brown in there. Yeah, it's like, but Doc Brown is such like a benevolent, like he's a kind-hearted, sweet guy, and this character sort of takes some turns that unexpectedly get the girls into trouble, and when I started the job, I didn't have all the scripts, and I didn't know where the character was going, which is such a strange thing for an actor. You show up and you don't know what the end game is. It's not like doing a play. You have the play is written, you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So when I was reading those episodes, I was like, oh, this guy's bad. He's taking advantage of these girls for him to save his own ass. But as the story continues to be told, things sort of even out. But yeah, I don't play the bad guy ever. This face does not read heavy. So to get a chance to do that a little bit, and granted they're 12-year-olds, so it's like anyone can be a heavy to 12-year-old girls. But it was still an acting challenge. It was. I remember the directors were giving me more direction of be angry, be tougher, push them. And that was a challenge. It's not something I'm comfortable doing. So a lot of takes.
Not a character that's in the book. And you mentioned on the panel, gave you a little more freedom to create. But did you still read the book for the aesthetic and to make sure that you kind of making sure your character fit in that world?
Yes, once I got the job, I read it. But then once we got the script, I sort of forgot about Brian K. Vaughan's work and committed to Chris Rogers' work, because that was all the audience was going to know. We sort of have to treat it as if everyone is coming to this show as an audience member for the first time. So not everyone in the audience will know the comic. They'll only know this story that Chris has adapted. So I just try to, stick to that script and not get caught up in bits and pieces of the comic that might confuse me. So I really stayed honest to Chris's writing and got out and tried not to break anything.
And you feel like Chris's writing captured the tone of the book?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, these kinds of products are these kind of IPs in such high demand for Brian and Cliff to give the reins, hand the reins over to Chris. It takes a lot of confidence and trust. That you have to take care of something like this. This is something like people revere this work. So it's not handed over to a writer in a casual way. So, and Chris delivers, as you will see. Have you guys seen the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. Chris really delivers, I think, in the tone and what the story is, which is for young girls becoming young women. That is the story. And I love that how he used Stand By Me on the panel today. It's completely Stand By Me. But instead of going to find a dead body, they travel through time and become young women. But yeah, there's only so much you can do with a certain amount of panels in a comic. You get to sort of expand the lungs of the storytelling machine when you get a camera involved. And Chris has been successful for a while. I think this is only going to add to sort of his body of work. He's great. He's an incredible writer.
I want to talk about the CG aspect of it with the Kaiju robot and stuff like that. Talk about the technicality of working and using your own imagination to bring that stuff to life.
Yeah, they built the robot. They built it like half of it. The bottom part, they built the feet and like the shins basically, and then they built the head and the chest, and the rest was CGI'd. But they put it up like 60 feet. They put the head 60 feet in the air in this soundstage in Chicago. So we're walking up 60 steps with a full camera rig, trapped into this tiny head. They made it a little bit harder, I think, than it needed to be. If I had notes for production for season 2, it'd be like, put this on the ground. Yeah, we can click pretend. It's all right. But acting out the physical motions of the Stomper robot running and walking, and those episodes were split up with different directors, which is also interesting. So the different directors had different takes on how to act that action within the head. So we did it once with one director, and another director came in with a completely different take. Both successful, but both very different. So that speaks to, directors don't get enough respect, I think, in television, because they're like, it's really about the writers and the creators and the actors who are there all the time, and then a director will come in, do an episode, and then leave. Yeah. So you're sort of a guest. But these directors were so great, and like jumping in and being part of this world. But yeah, the Stomper robot those were long days, 60 feet up in the air. These stunt guys shaking it so it looked like we were walking on it. But it's a great way to make a living. It's a strange life.
Yeah, now your character, in the end, you get, not that you're a completely bad guy, and in the end you kind of flip as an actor. How fun is that to sort of live in that gray area? You're not all bad, you're not all good, but you're human.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I think the character was so appealing. Over the course of playing the part, is that I was able to do a lot of different things, and it wasn't just this one thing. It can be a real, you get on a series, you watch a series for 6-7 years, and you start playing the same character. If you're really lucky, you have a writer and a showrunner and a creator that are able to give you a lot of stuff to play with and to give you some depth. But a lot of times, you're sort of stuck doing the same thing over and over and over again. So to be able to play a bunch of different things every day, it was just a joy. It made the show so much fun.
And working with the girls, like, how was that working with that ensemble?
It was a trip, man. It was like, I'm such an old, cynical guy, so to be surrounded by 15, 14, and 13-year-olds who are seeing it all for the first time. And I'm 44. I've been doing it for 20 years or so, and I'm cynical. I kind of walk into every job like with my arms crossed, saying like, how am I going to get screwed today? And they were just so excited and thrilled to explore every department. Like they were fascinated by just like how production works, how ADs work, how a company runs. And the effects stuff, of course, they were thrilled by all the effects stuff and all the action and the stunts. They were so curious. They just wanted to ask questions and learn about it. So some of my cynicism sort of melted away watching them. I was like, I used to be like that. So it was a kind of a benefit. It was like, it's helpful to work with young people because they make you young. They keep you young.
That's awesome. So what was the one thing you took from them? Working.
Yeah, basically like not being so cynical and being more curious. Yeah. You do it for so long, it becomes repetitive. You anticipate everything. But when you anticipate as an actor, you can get into trouble. You start assuming what the choice is going to make instead of listening to the person across from you and responding to the stimuli that they're giving you. So really staying present and staying in the moment is very important.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks guys.
Love the show.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
I got one of those, yeah. She said, can you say, yeah? If you bring your girls, yeah. Sticks up in the fields, man. I don't deal with